Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Dad jeans. Dad jeans.
And then I said, well, if you're going to send us a bottle of whiskey, then you have to be a micro sponsor because we don't take unsolicited gifts. It's actually, Brendan, I believe against the rules of podcasting.
That is true.
Unsolicited.
Yeah, we would probably have to face a tribunal.
Yeah, exactly. The podcast tribunal. I think Mark Maron.
Yep. Sarah Koenig. And Sean Kirby-Duntum.
I don't know who that is.
The hidden brain on NPR. He's the good cop though. He's very nice. He's like, so what brings you before the tribunal?
I'm laughing. I don't even know who you're talking about, but I'll laugh.
Yes, the Hidden Brain podcast on NPR. He is a very nice falsetto-ish human being.
Gentleman.
A fey. Yes.
What about that book notes? Fucker.
Oh, what is that? Some sort of book notes? I already don't like what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah, you've never heard this on NPR?
No.
Book notes.
Oh God.
I had to
is he
listen
like a
to,
male Sandra Singh Low?
No, he's just got the most like least affected voice you've ever heard, and you're just like falling asleep. And he's a very strange seeming guy. But you always do this so nicely, Brendan. Can we talk about microphone technique, because I know our listeners love it.
Oh yeah, I know. It's so funny. There's something, the microphones heat up and right away the angle's wrong for you, I've noticed.
It always is. Oh, see what you're doing right there. There, look at that.
Oh, a little of that.
Okay.
Oh, gorgeous. You
now
sound
it's not
wonderful.
Gonna slip. Now it's not going to slip.
Yeah, baby.
Put some more bass in my...
it would be my pleasure. I've never actually successfully in the 2.5 years we've been doing Dad Jeans, I have never figured out how to put more bass into a voice in my life. This is a quest I've been on audially forever.
Don't you think there needs to be less bass in most voices?
Yeah.
When I
yes,
sing,
that is actually
I always
true.
need to remove the bass from my voice.
Oh, interesting.
So I make it really high and nasally up here. Like this.
Listen to that guy. Were you born with the ability to make your diaphragm wiggle like that?
What is that wiggle? What do you mean? Vibrato?
Vibrato.
I guess. It's not something I've actively pursued.
It just happens when you sustain a note. Your diaphragm starts to masturbate itself.
I don't know what the fuck. It's a fucking nightmare every time I open my mouth to sing. It just, whatever happens out there happens.
A nightmare for you, my friend, but a dream for everyone else.
You're too kind. I don't agree with you, but
Jeffrey, first of all, you are a national treasure, and second of all, anyone who doesn't know that's got a appointment with my fist.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you heard me.
Inciting violence. You're like a Trump supporter out
here. Yeah,
there.
get him out of here.
Yeah,
that's what I say to anyone who doesn't know you're a national treasure. Get him out of here and elbow him in the face.
I like how like it's not even like we've gone past that point where it's like, remember how scared we were about all this violence happening at Trump rallies? Now it's just like. It's like let those fucking maniacs murder each other.
Eat each other alive.
I know, exactly. Like, I don't even feel like, is there violence at these things anymore? It's just like a bunch of screaming jackaninnies.
Oh, I'm sure they find about like 12 to 15 dead bodies under the pile of chairs at the end of each one, and they just kind of quietly deal with it.
They should do, if you really want to protest a Trump rally, you should like open up a 99-cent store like inside the arena, and then people will just all like leave Trump. They'll just be sputtering there. And they'll be, I guess I could go shopping.
And here's the thing:
elitist thing I've ever said in my life.
Even if so let's say there was, this is me being a Pollyanna alert.
Yeah.
Let's say there was some sort of movement that erupted as soon as he doesn't concede, and like he starts the militias and they all rise up, and it's like the South rises again, and suddenly it's a Civil War 2.0,
which is a terrifying possibility.
Which he's keeping alive, and I have more to say about that.
Oh, good. In newspapers, can we do newspapers tonight?
Oh yeah, okay. Let's do newspapers because I have a lot to say about Trump.
Good, I love talking about it. Even though we're fucking 15 minutes after you walk out the door, it's going to be completely outdated because he's going to do 17 more reprehensible things.
Oh, I know.
And then
we aren't even talking, like Matt Taibbi talked about, or somebody in Rolling Stone or someone, I think it was Taibbi, talked about the fact that like the thing he hasn't done yet is been photographed whacking off outside a nunnery, but we are going to see his penis.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're going to see the penis.
You want to see it? He's going to do like a Jim Morrison.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
See it? You want to see it?
That's the last piece of the puzzle. But even if they successfully get some sort of quote unquote movement going, two things are going to slow them way down.
Right.
Speaking of elitism, one, corn syrup.
Okay, good. Right.
They are some big uns.
Yeah.
And the other,
they've had their fill.
Yeah, that's elitist in me. Of course, I shouldn't say such things.
Or you could say that was the game plan all along. We've been stopping them from revolting.
Right. By making corn syrup so delicious,
creating food deserts around there.
Right, exactly. But just like Occupy Wall Street, when like the drummers drove everyone else crazy to the point, and then the person who was in charge of the tea samovar got the flavors wrong, and eventually they all fucking hated each other, mostly because of the drummers. The drummers ruined it. But in general, like those kind of movements start infighting fairly quickly and then fall apart.
That is very true, and especially groups that have proven themselves to be completely incapable of organizing.
Yeah, and being of a level of fundamental craziness.
How is he going to organize an army?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, I'm with you. Let's hold that for later because we have a little bit of front matter.
Oh, okay. Yes,
we have so much user submitted material tonight, Brendan.
Do we?
I haven't even discussed this with you. Yeah, we've got.
I'm excited.
2 Brian L. Perkins calls.
That fucking genius. Speaking of national treasures,
he is a national treasure. We've got a Mark Smith's call that we never got to.
Yes, of course.
That I'm wondering. I think we should devote a few moments to.
Yep. He's been very patient.
Out of respect for my brother-in-law.
I'm going to tip this beer onto your couch.
Please do.
In his memory.
Yes, please do. He hasn't died.
Okay.
Not good.
But he's in jail, you're saying.
He's gone away for some time. Daddy's gone away.
Yeah.
We're not sure where.
My homie's upstate.
Yeah. No, that's good of you. We have a mommy blog. Again, Brian L. Perkins. This is a Brian L. Perkins episode. He submitted a mommy blog.
Fantastic.
Don't ever sniff your fingers in front of me again. That's the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life.
There's an odd smell off the hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on down there?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Users, listeners, if you want to guess what's odd smell is coming off of Brendan's hands, you can call the Dad Jeans hotline at 323-484-4383.
And we can make a multiple choice.
That's a pretty good number.
Formaldehyde brain, sheep brains.
What?
That's for
it's
for
some kind of
cool.
a brain.
Yeah.
You know that he has brain hands. Okay. Sorry. In jokes a popping tonight.
We'll cover brain hands.
So, first of all, we have a micro sponsor.
Oh, yes.
Tonight. I have this. I know this guy Joshua Sitrek who has entered into my life. He may have been through initially through Contemporary Press, which was the publishing outfit that I ran in New York with a few of my friends. And then I published one of his stories in Awkward Press, which was another thing that I did when I moved to Los Angeles. I was into presses for a while.
Well, Bain and Company bought Contemporary.
Yes, I made a killing left and right on those things.
Yeah, once private equity gets into your publishing concern, it's time to fold up and start over.
Here's what's funny though: they bought Contemporary Press and then they turned it into a panini making company.
Oh Jesus!
It was just they said we like the press part. We don't really care about the book aspect of this, but Contemporary Press is a fantastic name for a panini shop. So that's what happened. But I made some pretty poly on that, so that was good. But so this guy Joshua Sitrek, he a little while ago he wrote to me and very nice email and told me that he enjoyed Dad Jeans and he was thinking of starting his own podcast.
Well, thank you, Joshua.
How do you do it? And I said, here's what you do. It's fairly easy. You just have to sign up for this thing and that thing. I'm not going to reveal the secrets on air.
No, these are trade secrets.
Yeah, I usually get paid for this. But
podcast enhancement.
But so they started. He and his friend Jeffrey Lewis started this podcast, Hanging with Old Lou, and it's fucking great. It's a really nice podcast. It's two guys. I don't know. I haven't listened from the beginning, so I need to go back.
Did you just drop the needle?
What?
Like you dropped the needle in the middle of an episode?
Well, I've started with a few episodes back and have not gone back to the beginning because they're up to...
Oh, that's what you mean. I thought you meant
they're
in
up
the
to like
middle
episode
of an episode.
16.
Not Badfellas.
Yeah. What? Oh, not Badfellas. I thought you were saying that this podcast was No Badfellas, as if there's a podcast named Badfellas.
Not Badfellas.
And then I just realized that's a fantastic name for a podcast.
That is a really good name for a podcast. It's not Badfellas, but it's a pretty good podcast.
It's okay. It's No Badfellas, so no, it's really great. It's just the two of them shooting the shit and talking about things that are relevant to our culture. And they have some really interesting discussions. And so anyway, I gave him a shout out on Dad Jeans, on the Dad Jeans Facebook page. And then Joshua sent me a bottle of fucking whiskey.
God damn, baby.
No, straight rye whiskey. This is Rittenhouse.
Uh-huh.
He encouraged me to drink it on the air. I had one glass of
You've been at that already.
this stuff the other day. Yeah. And it tore me a new asshole. This is strong ass 100 proof rye, American rye whiskey.
You know why they call it rye whiskey?
Do tell.
Because it's made from rye berries.
Rye berries?
Yeah.
I assume just rye.
Oh,
What's a rye berry?
I don't know. I assumed rye had berries.
Rye is just berries?
What?
Well,
No, but rye is like that, like the bread.
Sure.
But that's liquid form.
Right. Okay. Liquid rye.
What done ate itself and farted itself into some alcohol.
Well, that's why it tasted so delicious.
Yeah, man.
But so anyway, I'm making them our micro sponsor tonight because
thanks.
But like we said at the beginning of the episode, we're not, or you might have cut this. I don't know, Brent.
We never know until I sit down to do it.
Where you come in, but there's a law, a regulation against podcasters accepting gifts.
Right. Well, yes, exactly. I mean, we have a yearly audit that we sort of a voluntary one that we submit ourselves to with a third party podcast commission.
That's right.
They're very helpful, but you have to pay for it yourself.
Yeah.
And one thing they really look for hardcore is gifts.
Right.
Because that's where the corruption begins.
And you also have to, as a podcaster, I don't know if you knew this, but you have to wear a badge everywhere you go, just in case there's a spontaneous audit.
Yeah, that's true. And people need to identify the podcasters in the room and what podcast they represent.
Exactly.
I didn't realize the Kafka-esque nightmare we were embarking on when we started our little venture.
The sad thing is I was completely aware of it. that was what drew me to it in the first place.
You just needed something to do?
I was like, God damn it. My life is not enough of a Kafka-esque nightmare. Anyway, Hanging with Old Lou, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. Lou. It is available on your iTunes, on your Stitchers,
on your
anywhere
AM
you
dial.
Find fine podcasts.
Yep.
Two fantastic gentlemen, one fantastic podcast, and a very disturbingly heavy bottle of whiskey.
It's not Badfellas.
No, it's not Badfellas.
But it is Hanging with Old Lou.
If you guys could use that. Maybe your first print ad.
Yeah. It's not a bad tagline. Not Badfellas.
Okay, so that's that.
That is that. Thanks, guys.
Number one, we have then number two, we got a mommy blog sent to us by Brian L. Perkins.
Oh,
which
wonderful.
Isn't really a mommy blog. But should we do a mommy blogs? We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, we haven't done a long time. Let's do it.
Are we taping, by the way?
We are taping.
Thank you. Okay, let's do a mommy blog.
Okay, here's mommy blog.
Mommy blog, show me the way. Tell me where I've gone wrong today. Mommy blogs.
Drifting off with your honey is the best part of partnered life. Brian L. Perkins sent us this article, and he just wanted to get our feedback on it.
Okay. We're talking about when you're sleeping next to someone who you're involved with romantically.
That is correct.
Okay.
Your wife.
Okay, got it.
not anyone but your wife. Just your wife.
10-4.
I guess. Or probably your wife.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you sleep with a pillow between your knees?
No.
Do you sleep with a pillow?
My dad does.
Between your knees and then a hugger.
What? I didn't say that.
What?
Nothing. Keep going.
And then also, I sleep on my side, and I have a pillow between my knees, and I'm also hugging one, and I have my head on one. A 3-pillow wall.
A 3-pillow wall. You're trying to gain as much space from your partner as possible.
Oh yeah, well the pillows are on the other, so she gets my rear
Your
side.
butt,
She gets the butt. I face away from her.
Stick your butt,
and I
right
just
up in her face and
inseminate
fall
the crap
asleep.
out of a bunch of pillows.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Semen pillows.
Ugh.
I sometimes hug a pillow. I have no distinct routine.
Emily doesn't like it when my arm is under her head. Like, you know how you're supposed to, like, you're the guy,
Sure,
and she's the inside spoon. Traditionally, in heteronormative America, you're the guy, so your arm goes under her head, and she sleeps on your robustly muscular-chured arm.
Yes.
And then your other arm goes over around the top of her.
Sure.
And then your spoons. But Emily is like, nope, get that arm from under my head.
That's fine.
Then I'm going to have to get it removed.
Well, you mean if you were one-armed, you could sleep with her more comfortably?
Yeah, and also de-shouldered, too. I'm just going to go from the rib cage straight up and remove all that, and then we'll be able to spoon.
Sometimes you have to make sacrifices for marriage.
That's true.
Brendan.
That's
I think
true.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
First of all, my first comment about this article, this is on Slate. I hate the way this guy writes. So fuck you, Brian L. Perkins, for sending us this horrible article.
Damn.
But the point of the article is, okay, he says, he makes some terrible jokes. Then he says, what I really wanted to find out was whether our habit of going to bed at the same time, something we've always done naturally without ever deciding it's what we should be doing, is considered a universal feature of married life. Oh, you've discussed it, Brendan?
Me and Emily?
Yeah.
Going to bed at the same time?
Yeah.
Have we ever?
Oh, okay. Listen to this. Okay, so we go through the article. He talks about the benefits of going to bed are obvious enough. Scientists have proven that people who go to sleep at the same time tend to get along better and spend more time together. Mm-hmm. And he says, but the question here is not what is good. The question is what's normal, and also whether it might be okay if sometimes, not often, one of us, me for example, stayed up and did his or her own thing. That's I'm sorry. That's just, I can't not read it in that voice. You might be thinking, dude, why don't you love your wife? Well, don't be dumb. I love my wife more than you probably love your wife. So, but I can't help fantasize. I hate this article. Thanks, Brian. But so he's just talking about how he would love to just stay up sometimes by himself and not go to sleep with his wife.
Wait, but he can't bring himself to be like, honey, I'm playing video games till dawn.
Yeah, or just do it. Like, I don't know why it needs to be like,
There's something he's not saying about, like, the pressure to not do this. Like, where's that? He's just allowing for that as being a given.
Well, but then he says, the truth is that no one's stopping me from doing any of this stuff.
Okay.
It's not because of inertia or because I'm lazy. Like, this article literally could have been 2 sentences long. The handful of times in recent memory when I've been forced to do work while my wife has gone to bed, I've caught myself feeling an almost absurd sense of loss. Yeah, it is absurd. It's not almost absurd. It's absurd.
This is some
fucking
serious
stay up.
Codependency.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
After asking within my very limited social network, I can confidently declare that this is normal because he needs validation from outside.
And yeah, anything you put on Facebook, you're like, there's blood in my stool. And people are like, you go, girl.
Yeah. Good for you. Well, that's what they do to you. They never do that to me. I could put the funniest shit you've ever read in your entire life on Facebook, and I get one like. True.
Tomorrow, I'm going to comment on your next post.
Oh,
there's blood in your stool, girl.
Please, and then you'll get 700 likes. Brandon, you're so funny. Meanwhile, I'm back here, fucking healing the world with my laughter. No one's acknowledging me at all. Okay, so anyway, I don't know what the fuck this guy's point is. It's like, but the question is, I think why Brian sent this to it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he is a gentleman and a scholar.
He's both those things.
He was asking, I think, do you guys go to sleep with your wife at the exact same time as your wife? And I tend to, and there is some reality to this article that I do feel like I want to go to sleep at the same time as my wife.
Yeah, sure.
But then I also simultaneously resent it sometimes. Where I'm like, but what I'm actually resenting is the fact that I have to go to bed at all and fucking wake up at 6 o'clock every morning to take care of my children.
Imagine if we didn't have to sleep
at all.
That's
not her fault.
Yeah. Like some people are like, what? I love sleep. Yeah. But I'm like, you love death hastening? Fuck that shit. There's so much to do. And there are exactly 8 too few hours to do it.
So if you could take a pill where you would never sleep, you would do that?
Oh, in its New York fucking cocaine blizzard, I would do it.
Really?
Yeah, big time. Without hesitation. Never sleep again, but not be tired. Boom.
Wow.
I'm in. Think about how much you get done.
I think I would just fucking spend even more time, waste even more time on the internet.
Yeah, you could spend a lot of time on the internet.
That's a plus to you. Oh, sure. I didn't even think about that. But do you and Emily go to sleep at the same time?
Our circadian rhythms were really off when we got together. She is I'm pooped at 9:37 every night. And I left my own circadian devices, like when you and I shared an office, and I had my work from home job.
Yeah.
I default to a 2:15 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. sleep.
Oh, okay. Given your druthers?
Given my druthers. But the problem is when I wake up at 10:30, you don't get anything done. Then suddenly it's 5 p.m. and nothing happened.
Sure. But that's why I do my best work, and I can't do this because I have children. But that was always my sort of thing too, is that I would start doing my thing at like 7 and then just keep going until 2 in the morning.
Yeah, baby.
And I would get I prefer to do that because it's not no one else is awake, so you're not having to feel like someone else is trying to contact you or something else is going on out there that you have to pay attention to. You're like, okay, it's the dead hours. Now I can focus on me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have had to shoehorning the Queen Mary into a fucking like Kmart parking space.
Right.
I have had to turn myself into someone that goes to bed early and gets up early.
Ooh.
And it has been completely unnatural, but but I did so for the sake of marital harmony, and also now with Oscar.
Yeah,
I wake up before he does. I get up at like 5. I wake up before both of them, and then from 5 to 6, I have the joint to myself, and it's great.
And what are you able to accomplish stuff during that time?
A little bit, yeah. I get motivated. I start like the intimidating projects. If I just start. The best advice I ever got in grad school when I had a paper due in 2 weeks was this woman was like. And I was like, I should start right now because I never get these done in time. I wait till the last minute. And she was like, start a Word document, title it, by Brennan Hughes, close it. Then it exists. Then it's much easier.
Oh, interesting. I like that.
Yeah, it was the best advice I ever got because once you start, and in that 5 a.m. hour, I start the ones that I'm procrastinating on because you can start anything you're procrastinating at 5 a.m. And then start and stop. Like start, create the file.
That's good.
And that's it. And then it happens.
It is much easier to keep going if you're going.
Right.
It is the getting going that isn't so easy sometimes.
What about your circadian rhythm and Sarah? Do you guys line up?
I mean, it's a hard question to answer because we have children. So it's like 5 years into this, 6 years almost into this child odyssey. Like I have no idea what it's like to not have children and not just be exhausted at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Definitely, if it were possible for me, I would be staying up until like 11 o'clock midnight every night.
Playing video games, writing songs.
Well, we're going to get into that later. But just like, just relaxing, just enjoying the world. Doing my creative projects, you know?
Yep. So the muse visits you in the evening.
Yeah, it does. It tends to. I mean, it doesn't. There's really no. I've managed to force myself to make it visit at other times, but like I feel like I'm most excited. Like it's most fun for me during those hours. It's not a ton of fun sometimes to be working at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
But we tend to go to sleep at the same time. There are definitely nights when I'm like, I just want to like stay up. Or another thing, a big argument, a big fight that we tend to get into is that I like to read in bed.
Oh yeah.
And I have a Kindle now. It's backlit, so I can just like read. And
then, same here.
Like Sarah sometimes will get mad at me or will be annoyed at the light from the Kindle, and I'm just like, I have fucking made every compromise in the world in order to do the one thing that I like to do before I go to sleep, like deal with the light from the Kindle. Close your eyes and turn the other direction. So that's a fight that we've had before.
Yep, yeah. Emily too. We've had similar things.
Really?
Yeah. And Emily didn't want the phone in the bed, didn't want that energy. She often, God bless her, she will like plead that we go to bed at the same time, which we usually do. We didn't often before.
Yeah.
Especially before. But then she like wants to chat and like, have like quality time in bed. She's often vying for quality interactive time together.
Yeah.
And
you're vying for less of that.
this sounds so weird, I know, but like the timing of the end of the day when I'm exhausted is a little bit tricky. Like I find I have limitless energy to look at my phone in bed,
right?
But to have like a heartfelt conversation with my wife, just taps me. Isn't that weird? I should feel terrible, and I don't understand what that's about. Am I addicted to the electronics, Jeffrey, and the information flow?
I don't know. I think it's just the fact that you are responsible for turning it off, right? Like when you're engaged in a conversation, you're like, "Is this going to end soon? Like, what do I have to? What's my role in this? If I don't want to talk anymore, can I just stop talking?" Or,
right.
You end up getting sucked into something against your will, and you're just like, just please let me go to sleep.
I wonder what that's about. And she, introvert that she is, seems to really draw energy from an exchange and a discourse. But sometimes, not always, sometimes I do too, but sometimes I can't do it.
Yeah, I get it.
What's up with that? What's going on? First of all, poor Emily, we're all thinking, but also, what the fuck? What do I do? How do I?
I don't know, man. That's a very typical men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a gender thing, perhaps. I'm just like a sort of a caveman.
I think we're reversed. Sarah's more of the alpha male in our relationship. I definitely want to I want to talk things out. I can't rest until things are discussed.
Oh yeah,
I have a hard time just sitting on things. I like to finish talking about things, and it used to make us like we would be like late for work because like we would be having this fight. I'd be like, nope, sorry, can't leave until we fix this.
Oh yeah.
But let's move on because we have a million things to do tonight.
Okay.
Brandon L. Perkins, thanks for sending us that article.
It is very interesting.
The Dad Jeans community is ablaze with this discussion.
I can feel the
angel fire
statements coursing through.
Yeah, people are so excited.
The commentary coursing through our veins.
Yeah, it's coursing. Newspapers. What do you want to do next?
Oh yeah, let's do newspapers.
Okay,
ready?
Do it.
A lot of stuff going on over here, over there. We're gonna tell you about the world, cause the world is important. Newspapers, we peep the news.
According to this newspaper,
yeah,
welcome cost to me news. 1 26 pennies.
Dateline
2016.
2016.
I'm cracking into the second beer.
Isn't Dateline a place? What do they say? What do you follow Dateline by? Dateline, North Dakota. Like, yeah, I feel like Dateline isn't really a time.
Well, there is an international one that's somewhere over on the water in the Pacific.
But that's what they would say on like a that's what they would say on a news.
Oh, like a byline kind of deal.
Right?
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know.
All that old stuff, like the term broadsheet. Fuck's a broadsheet?
All that old stuff. Broads.
Sheets.
Okay, broads and sheets. Do you want to go first? Tell me what you've been thinking about with the.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking about. First of all, Trumpistan. I know. I hesitate to even give that motherfucker more airtime.
You know what? I gotta say, I love an underdog. I hate the pile-on, but he's just so villainous.
He's such a pig.
I can't be shut up about it. I
know. And for a long time, I thought, it's just ratings. Like I've met plenty of agent provocateurs who just like are saying the thing, and at that, he truly is brilliant. But I have a couple of issues here. One is that the Vox Populi is so aghast that anyone would say these things, but this guy has existed everywhere forever.
Right. This type of guy you're saying?
Yeah, there are a million Trumps, and we all know a lot of them.
Oh, sure. I mean, take away the money, but we still know them. Like, yeah, it's not. There aren't a million guys with his platform, but there are a million guys
megaphone
at everyone's fucking workplace who are
right.
this
And
guy.
almost every guy at his stature of wealth is like that, are just like the biggest fucking douchebags. Like the fathers of one's rich friends, you meet them and you're like, I'm getting a skeezy, like amoral, rapey thing coming off of you. You know what I mean?
Awful.
And it's like they're all, it's very disturbing. Anyway, this guy's everywhere. So the idea of him being unique in any of these views is something I take exception to, because yes, he's the Republican nominee, but also Republicans are just like deplorable basket occupiers.
Yeah.
That, you know. Anyway,
very true.
So I it strikes me a little odd that people are like, where did he come from?
Right.
And he's saying these crazy things, and it's like, no, that he represents a very well-represented portion of society.
There was a great,
and it's not a surprise at all.
There was a great David Cross tweet from today where he said, where is it? I believe I retweeted it. We
tweeted it.
Yeah, I retweeted it. He said, if you told me 15 years ago that a gleefully ignorant, uncurious multimillionaire would be the Republican nominee, I would have said, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Here's the other thing. Here's my other point. So he says all these like super sinister, like dog whistle racist things. Now it's about international. It's not exactly. Now he's talking about like cabals of international banks and things like that, which makes you wonder, what does his son-in-law think of all that? His son-in-law being Jewish, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was thinking about like, okay, so he really knows all of the deep conspiratorial, like racist melodies.
Or someone is feeding them to him.
Well, you'd think someone was feeding to him. And then I thought about this and I was like, well, his father was arrested at a Klan fucking rally. And so he actually grew up. His father was in the Klan, obviously. And no one's really talking about that. And so around the kitchen table or like on long drives, his father would be like, well, you see the Jews, and like, and he's making his father, like, they dreamed of a time when they could, with their wealth, somehow inject all of this so-called alt-right invective and like and narrative about all this stuff into the mainstream. And now he's doing his Klan member father proud by succeeding in injecting into the mainstream all these conspiratorial things that white nationalists have always felt and have been on the blogs forever. So he is a dyed-in-the-wool white nationalist Klan member, and he is, and that's where it's not just about ratings. He is actually a member of the Ku Klux Klan, just like his father, and that's where he's getting all this narrative.
All right, that's a theory. I don't know.
Take it to the bank. Take it to the international bank.
I don't know.
First cabal.
His daughter did marry a Jewish man.
Well, he can look the other way when it has to do with moolah.
Okay.
Perhaps. I don't know anything about the guys. I'm guessing he comes from another prominent family or something like that.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I feel like I could see him definitely like growing up with this, like in that kind of, I mean, he definitely grew up in that time with father who would be that type of person, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole Klan rally thing. I as far as I know, that was one picture in a newspaper from 1941 or something like that. I don't know how. I haven't seen any further discussion of that aspect of his father's life. I don't know. Have you ever read anything more about it?
No.
Oh, okay. I just feel like that to me almost excuses him in a way that, like, I'd almost rather see him as the typical white American. Like, to me, if you're like, oh, well, he's like a Klan member, then he's just like a screaming racist and we can just like discount him. But like, I think the interesting thing about the Trump phenomenon, and Brendan, don't hear me. I have no information. I am piggybacking off of your statement and bringing it. I'm not telling you you're wrong.
Oh, hey,
you might be right.
Tell me I'm wrong. I probably am wrong.
You might be perfectly right.
But I might be right.
It is more interesting to me that the idea that this is lurking within all of us.
I see what you mean.
And he's like activating something that like is just like barely hidden beneath the surface, you know?
And if I otherize him, it excuses all of us for having created him.
Maybe, yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I've been fascinated by the whole... so there's this thing on the NPR the other day about... do you know the implicit bias test where you're like shown black faces?
Oh, yeah,
and
you have to click the button as fast as possible.
Right. And like no one, no white person, no black person can take this test without showing a bias towards white being better than black.
Right. I took this test.
Okay.
And I did better than average.
Oh, good for you.
I was very proud of myself.
So you are less racist than average.
Yep.
Good job, Brendan.
Thank you.
Certainly less racist than black people. The most racist group on the planet. Sorry, that was terrible. Terrible joke.
But that's the old Chris Rock joke. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, he had a whole thing about like how he was like the most racist people in the world are old black men. and he was talking about like, and you're white and you're in the audience and you're thinking, but not Reggie at work. Reggie and he's like, right. Reggie hates your guts.
Yeah, that's that's good stuff. That's how we come together through gentlemen like Chris Rock.
Yep.
But I've been just thinking about like, so I heard this piece on NPR about this woman like talking about the implicit bias test and how she was shocked and it made her realize like all of her implicit bias. But the people who refuse to believe that are the ones who are most susceptible to implicit bias.
Oh, yes, that's true.
So like, if you are like, if
people say like, I'm not racist at all are the most racist, you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I just wonder what that is, that like the people who are more open to, it's almost like, I don't even know if bias comes into the equation, but the people who are most open to the idea that our thoughts are not, that we are not 100% in control of our thoughts. You know, like we've got implicit bias. We've got like therapy, you know, talking about like what from before is stirring up these emotions.
And all sorts of narrative craziness.
We've got brain chemicals that are affecting the way we behave.
Oh, yeah.
And the people who are most resistant to that thought are the ones who are the least like the most driven by these impulses.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It is, it's obversely proportional. And I just came across in my research on authenticity, people who think they're the better you think you are at detecting lies, the worse you are.
Oh,
scientifically, like people who are the most confident scored the worst in lie detection.
Wow.
So it's like it's certainty. Well, it is again.
It comes back to certainty.
It all comes back. People are going to write papers on dad jeans, and it's about certainty.
It's a horrible impulse. Like I don't know, and
it's
I don't
exactly
know
what's wrong.
But my question is, what is it that is it? If you're that close to. If you're that close to losing control of your faculties, like, are you more scared that it would be possible, and therefore you don't want to even entertain the notion?
Oh, right.
That you're not in complete control of your faculties.
There was a guy I used to work with on the tour trolleys who used to always say his stock joke. He was super homophobic and like, you know, made jokes to that effect. But he often said, I just don't want to have gay sex because I am really scared I'm going to like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
like we would all be like, but on the inside we were like, well...
Right. That was joking on the square right there.
Big time joking on the square. And go for it, man.
Yeah.
Life is short, baby.
Maybe you'll like it, buddy.
And maybe life is going to be great.
There's this amazing, like, I've probably quoted this on Dad Jeans before because it's one of my favorite things that I've ever read in my entire life. The Onion AV Club interviewed Bronson Pinchot.
Oh, yeah.
Years ago, and they asked him about Tom Cruise because he was in Risky Business, and he said Tom Cruise would like shove like weirdly homophobic remarks into everything he said. Like they go outside and he'd be like, "Oh, it's a nice day outside. Hope there aren't any gay people around." Just like really like a weird, like no non sequitur types of homophobic remarks.
That's where he was on the bridge.
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah, you think that's where? Yeah,
he had just taken that workshop in Scientology.
David, what's his name? Miscavige was guiding him through that.
Guiding is one way to
on the mind bridge. So that's some good news, peepers. Do you have any other?
Nope, just that
news to peep.
That Donald Trump comes by all this racial invective honestly because he's a fucking Klan member, and so is his father.
Okay, here's another question for you. Mm-hmm. As a person who has studied brain development, this has been haunting me a lot. Casually. You're not an expert.
No,
you're a party brain.
I have a
specialist.
brain. I mean, allegedly.
I've held one.
Yeah, you certainly have. That's going to come up in one toe.
Okay, good. I have no one toe, so you get all the toes this week.
Okay.
What is so upsetting to people about being wrong?
I grapple with it, my friend. I grapple with it quite a bit. In my own goddamn marriage, I grapple with it. And I catch myself fucking hating criticism and hating being wrong. And I'm like, what is the problem? Because there's not a doubt in my mind that Emily loves me with every molecule in her being.
Sure.
So why should it bother me to be wrong?
Right.
My answer for myself for this question is that there's a paradox where I have a bit of an abandonment complex. You're putting your beard on. You're not going to leave the room, are you, and leave me alone by myself? Because I have an abandonment complex.
I was planning on it. I was going to go. I have this rope. I was just going to just let me. Just ignore me. I'm going to string this around the fan.
Oh God!
And just turn.
I'm having a mix of emotions.
That was the last episode of Dad Juice.
So I have an abandonment complex.
Okay.
And as a result, so you would think I'd be the nicest person in the world all the time to someone I'm dating, like Emily Topper, who I'm also married to, but I'm dating her as well. And yet
there's self-sabotage.
Yeah. And so what I do instead of just being nice and like obsequious all the time is I protect my stock value. Mm-hmm. Like with a bloodlust. So if she says something that may influence what my character in this marriage is like may besmirch my character in the marriage as a participant in the marriage.
Okay.
Then I will argue hardcore to protect the stock value of my character as a husband in the marriage. And in doing so, like it's paradoxical, like be more aggressive and more of an asshole to protect that characterological observation as being sort of wrong on her part. I am in fact without sin or whatever.
Okay.
But paradoxically, I'm being more of an asshole in protecting my stock value than I would be in taking the dip in the stock value and being like, well, wasn't my best moment.
So can you remove yourself from yourself and your background and whatever brought you to that point from that equation and universalize that experience? Like what would be, because this is a very common thing. Like there are people who are better at saying, after a while at saying I'm wrong, but there's no one who in the moment when challenged is just like, oh, you know what? You're right. Yeah. Right. I got that wrong.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
But like, what is, why? Who gives a shit? Like,
right.
In the grand spectrum of things, like no one's stabbing you with an ice pick. No one's like, all you're doing is saying, oh yeah, that thing I said was incorrect. But why socially, culturally, evolutionarily should we be so strong? I mean, people die over being wrong. Like there are wars fought over right and wrong. Like, and I mean, we should all acknowledge that there's probably no universal right or wrong, right? Like,
well,
there
if you're a secular humanist, there's the harm principle.
Yeah, there are accepted moral ideas that I think we can all sort of basically agree with.
Yeah.
But like just as far as like answering in some respects, I'm sure Donald Trump's worldview is just as legitimate as Hillary Clinton's.
In certain sort of multiverses, yeah, right, where like there are underdogs who are the overdogs and all sorts of weird shit like that.
Perhaps there might be, but there's something fundamentally upsetting to us about the concept that what we believe might not be correct.
Yeah.
Or someone else might see things differently, and we just can't.
Yeah.
Fucking accept it. It does it. Okay, here, developing a theory.
Okay.
Does it go back to our core wound? Brendan, we're coming back to the core wound.
The spear wound on Jesus' side below his ribs. That one?
Sure, let's say that. I'm thinking the core wound that occurs when we realize we are individuals and not, in fact, all part of the universe, which we have seen our children do.
Oh, right, where we realize we are horribly alone.
Yes. And is that it? Like it's like we are advanced to a certain point, but we are fundamentally incapable of accepting our individuality, and that makes us so upset.
This is, well, Jeffrey, here is why. Let me tell you why we can't accept our individuality. Because it's a fucking hoax.
Yeah, no, I mean, in a spiritual sense, sure. We're all just fucking dead things come back together, right?
Yes. And the whole concept of individuality and the self is just this like flimsy primitive toilet paper tube where it's very 1.0 through which we're trying to shove every sensation, idea, and betrayal and thought that we have and experience like through this like toilet paper tube of identity and self, when in fact there is no toilet paper tube. We're just running on a bunch of different tracks. A bunch of tracks are happening to run through our particular noggin.
The past.
The past future,
culture,
like the bubbly
like
beer
the
that's
things.
in my gut right now, the fact that I have a little sleep in my eye, a memory from earlier today, the drive here, talking to you, the microphone, listening to my voice. All these things are like all happening simultaneously in my brain, and the chord that they form, this sort of the symphonic, like sum is greater than the parts, is kind of like could best be described as a quote unquote self. But the moment we start to put this fucking narrative and like I have a character and I am capable of being criticized because there is an I in the equation in the first place.
Sure,
that's a bunch of garbage, and that's the problem.
There's no I in team.
It's hiding in the A.
I know. Yeah, everyone write that out. But no, I mean you're right. You're right, and that's exactly what we started this conversation is that you and I are willing to entertain that thought, and consequently we are the least certain people,
right?
Throughout in how we interact with the world.
Yeah, exactly. And therefore, when you take, I mean, I don't want to, toot our own horns or nothing, but when you then take the cognitive bias test, turns out one isn't as racist. I bet if you took it, you wouldn't be that racist either.
I don't know, man. I do not like Armenians. Sorry. Did I say that out loud? Sorry. That's a racism you'll only hear in Los Angeles.
I know.
Anywhere else in the country, they're like, "What, Armenia? Like, where is that?
Is that still a country?"
Yeah,
I know. But in LA, you say to someone, they're like, "Oh, beige marble."
Oh, fucking Armenians. I know. It is a very interesting. Like, I don't know if you can develop racisms this late in life.
Yeah. I wonder. That's a good question. But I just think that the less certain you are, the more open to ideas you are.
Yes.
My mom surprised me. She was like, these poor bastards, referring to Trump supporters, have been completely forgotten by both political parties. So it makes perfect sense that they're so pissed the fuck off right now.
Well, that's true, but there are a couple of articles I've read that I 100% agree with on this whole phenomenon, that actually the most impoverished, that is not like the people who are the most left behind. That is not Trump's base. Trump's base are middle class, and actually, the average income earned by his supporters is higher than the average income earned by Hillary Clinton supporters.
Oh, okay. Okay. I read something about this,
And it really just boils down to racism.
Yeah.
It really just and the fear, whatever that fear is inside, that the world is changing, like, and you're going to be left behind. Like it's almost like the guy who says, oh, I sure wouldn't like having sex with, or I sure I don't want to have sex with a gay guy because I might like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of that weird, like that weird fear where wait, I lost my train of thought on this. There's something like in that okay, fuck it. I'm not gonna complete this. Keep going.
All right, I got you.
Okay.
I read somewhere where the Republicans in, say, Kentucky, like in the Ozarks, right, who hate the government and talk about handouts and all this kind of thing.
Oh, I know where I was going with it.
Okay, take it away.
Okay, will you remember your thought?
I will.
My thought was that they're terrified that the white people are going to be slaves next.
What?
That's their main fear, is that we've treated these guys so shitty throughout our history that if they ever get in control, if they ever become the majority of the country, then we're going to be enslaved.
That is the most dickheaded fear I've ever heard in my entire life.
I just made it up, but don't you see that? Like, just I'm like, because they dwell in this vengeance.
Yeah.
This world of vengeance,
and right,
and so
wrong,
that's what they're terrified of, is that the black people are out there hating them and are ready to take, once they get into power, then we're going to be as fucked as we fucked them.
Wow, Jesus.
Maybe there's something to that, but I'm sorry, keep going with yours. They're Ozark.
What I read somewhere is like you take like Mississippi or something like that, and the people who are voting, like there are people who are on government assistance who have substance abuse issues and are like really struggling, and teen pregnancy and blah blah blah, and so whatever it is.
Yeah.
Who like will live in a house in a neighborhood, and it's like the Boo Radley house and the roof is falling apart or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then
Grey Gardens.
Yeah, and it's there. They're great. The house is Grey Gardens, and they're like they've got the substance issues, and they've got the whole sort of cycle of poverty, and it's like a bad scene.
Yeah.
And then 4 doors down is the neighbor where the guy, like the kid went to trade school, and then he got into construction, and then hung out a shingle as a plumber, and he like works really hard and like he has the van and makes the money or whatever, and like has to bust his ass, right?
Yeah.
And so then he sees and he struggles, and sort of like he is the protagonist in his own story, and it's those dudes who look at the people who are on the government assistance and the substance abuse and whatever it is, and they don't have any sympathy whatsoever.
Of course.
And they just see like the whole government handout thing happening.
Right.
And that's what turns people into Republicans, is that level of proximity where they're just above poverty enough that they can see, they feel like the joke is on them. Is apparently the mindset from what I read.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's at the end of the day, it boils down to lack of empathy.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's really what's at the root of it, because you're like, if you empathize with the other guy, then you're like, then you don't assume that, you assume that he wants to be working. He wants to be doing something else.
Yeah.
His life circumstances made him whatever is happening in his life. But like, who wants to fucking be a loafer? Like, it's so slim. Like, it's got to be such a tiny, tiny minority of people. And I would gather, or I would wager that the percentage of people who actually want to be loafers are much more heavily concentrated in the upper classes.
Yeah, I want to be a layabout.
Yeah, well, I guess I
work is bullshit.
Yeah,
but and
but so not on fucking food stamps and like $300 a month. Like, you don't want to be a layabout. It's not like.
And how are you supposed to make the jump when you're like, let's say you have a kid and the kid is about to age out of like some sort of assistance or whatever, and you're a woman who doesn't have any prospects and couldn't finish high school because you got knocked up.
Sure.
And then you have to figure out how is the system going to work? How will you keep eating? How will the kid keep eating? Sure, you could somehow like be gone for 12 hours a day at like school and 4 jobs, and then your kids like just don't even see you, or you love your kids, so like, okay, so wait a second, but actually I could also just like have another kid. I love kids, I'm a good mom, and that would allow us to remain on the assistants and I can spend time with Mike. But I don't know, whatever it is. Like everyone has their own story and they're trying to figure the whole thing out.
Absolutely. It's a fucking nightmare. No one provides help for parents.
No, there's no safety net. It's like capitalism is a fucking disaster.
It's a disaster. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
What do you want to do next? One toe.
Oh, one toe.
You have a toe.
I
have no toes. Toe.
You put your one toe in, then leave it in. You're done.
Okay.
Have I got a toe for you, my friend?
We'll toe it up.
Okay. So I used to, wonder where I could perhaps perform my weird act, as we all know.
You've thought about it for a while.
Then I bought my house, and it has a pergola in it, and the pergola seats 40, and it's a little miniature theater.
What is a pergola?
A pergola is a wooden lean-to built on the side of a house.
Okay.
Sort of. It's like a wooden covering where you can like set up a Thanksgiving dinner, but like, if it rained, everyone would get wet, but there's wood over your head.
Oh, so it's like a yurt.
It's kind of like a yurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're at your yurt.
We're in a yurt.
You're in your house yurt.
And it turns out, my tiny house came with a weird little performance space.
Fantastic.
If you think about it that way.
Fantastic.
So last Saturday, I decided to have the third investigation under the pergola.
Holy cow!
I brought this up on Dad Jeans before. Of occasional Saturday, I have about 40 people to my house.
Okay.
And I announce a theme, and everyone who comes can perform an act.
Right.
Wherein they perform an investigation upon that theme, and this investigation could take the form of a song.
Yeah.
A PowerPoint presentation.
A poem.
Poem.
Yep.
Food.
Yep.
Sculpture.
Who
fucking knows?
Have you had weird things happen at your?
Just this last Saturday, a number of weird things occurred.
Do tell.
Well, American genius Todd Sullivan decided to lead a guided meditation on finding your authentic self, and it was fucking hilarious.
I don't know. Somehow we get into these discussions, and like I feel like I have to be the passive questioner or something. But I should admit that I was at this thing.
You were indeed,
and it was fucking great, Brendan.
Thank you.
You assembled an amazing group of performers this evening. You yourself were on fire.
Oh, that's great to hear because I felt like I bombed.
One always does.
One always does. Yeah.
But you had some. I really enjoyed your lectures. You opened my eyes to a number of things that are happening around us. What with the whole Illuminati and the international Kabbalah bankers.
Yeah, international bankers who are rigging the election.
Yeah. A pound of flesh perhaps will be extracted from us.
Hashtag prayer locks.
Yeah. But no, it was such a great night. But I'm sorry, keep going. I don't want to interrupt.
Oh no, interrupt away because you were in the audience, and so you have a much fresher perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I having been the, for lack of a better word, impresario of the affair, I'm totally forest for the trees.
Yes.
On the matter,
and also when you are in it. This is why, like, you had asked me if I wanted to perform something. I thought afterwards, I realized afterwards, I really should have done my cover of The Dreams, Put It Down.
Oh, yes!
Because that would have revealed my authentic self. But
it's so good.
I realized that afterwards. But I was actually very content to not perform because it was really nice to, and when you're performing, you're always thinking about performing. And like just to sit and be an audience member was really nice, actually. Like I was able to really fully enjoy everyone, and I thought everyone did a fantastic job. Like it was just really wall-to-wall entertainment. It was one of the more
legendary Brian Perkins sent a video postcard from San Francisco.
Yeah,
about authenticity.
Yeah, and it was great. It was so funny. It was
so
just
good.
Like
and
the
Brian,
sound effects.
It's slayed. I sent him a text. I
texted him as well.
I was like, Brian, your piece slew.
Yeah.
Because I had to Google it, but that's the past tense of slay. But I'm worried that he thought it was autocorrected from blue, and I'm worried he thought I said your piece blue.
Wow, because he didn't respond?
No.
That's just how cool Brian L. Perkins is.
Yeah.
He doesn't respond to a text complimenting him.
So he sent a little video postcard.
Yeah. And that was great. I love the I love the
little
multidisciplinary.
Oh my God,
aspect of it.
So here's what else happened. I decided to kind of go for broke because I put all the shit on a credit card.
Oh, geez.
And so I rented lab coats, and everyone wore a lab coat.
We did.
And that part was very fun.
And we were like, why are we wearing lab coats? This is the weirdest thing I've ever been part of.
Oh, it was great. And and it was a full moon, and seeing a bunch of people standing in my darkened yard in the light of the full moon in white lab coats, 40 people in lab coats standing in your yard is really fucking funny.
Was it?
I was just in heaven watching it. And then I also found a company that issues for schools that have a biology class specimens for dissection. And there's a whole moment in the middle. I gave 3 lectures of the evening on different. The theme was authenticity, and the theme. And I gave 3 lectures. The second lecture of the 3 was about the fact that there, in fact, and we just covered this in our last segment, is no self.
Right.
There is no self.
I thought you did a good job also of keeping these lectures succinct.
Oh, thank you.
I thought the running time of the evening was perfectly enjoyable.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I discussed David Hume having an epiphany in a Scottish pub that echoed the Buddha's epiphany at the base of the fig tree.
Yeah.
That being that we are just a bundle of sensations, otherwise known as the bundle theory, which you can find on Wikipedia.
Okay.
And so then I thought, then I was trying to sort of convey, like, if you had a heart transplant, you would still be you.
Yep.
But if you had a fucking brain transplant, you would be the last person who had that brain in a new body.
Right.
Not that we can do brain transplants yet. But the point is, so therefore the self, if it exists, and my ultimate point was it does not, but I was not there yet in the point making, must exist in the brain.
Okay.
And so I took to the internet a couple weeks earlier and purchased for $12 each 3 sheep's brains.
$12?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, you can no sheep.
Oh. That's good. That's cute.
And
Holy sheep.
And you can get a sheep's brain for $12 plus shipping and handling.
You can go to any fucking Hillary Clinton rally and find one of those sheeple and get a brain for much less than that.
Oh, the libtards?
Yeah, the libtards.
Have you noticed? I don't know if I'm sure they're
the worst ever.
The worst.
I wouldn't even. That's not even a dad manto.
I know it does. It's a nothing. It's like nothing. It's not even a thing.
Libtard.
It's that's the best they can. Jeffrey, that's the best they can do.
That's the best they can do.
And it's like libtard. And and I have noticed on how sometimes on my Facebook page,
just do D-tard. Big D-tard.
Oh,
D-tard.
See, Jeff, but they don't have your...
Took me 3 seconds to come up with that. You've been doing libtard for the last 10 years?
Jeff, they don't have your brain. The brain trust is not there. They don't have your level.
Well, I ingested some of those sheep brains, Brendan.
Did you eat them?
They're
covered in formaldehyde,
It whatever it did, it made me supercharged. I'm like that guy in the Alan Smithy film. What?
Let me say what?
Nothing.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
The sheep's brains. What? I might like it. The sheep's brains arrived. I called the guy and I was like, "Do I have to refrigerate these?" And he's like, "Nope." So anyway, they arrived in these like sealed pouches.
Okay.
And I bought a cake plate so that like I would reveal the sheep's brains, because my idea being like, if the self, quote unquote, is a collection of sensations that happens in the brain, then let's all hold a self in our hand. And so
let's do it.
In the pocket of the lab coats that I got everybody, I had put rubber gloves.
Okay.
And I handed them, and so like at the point I said, put on your rubber gloves.
Yep,
and I built the anticipation. And then I revealed the sheep's brains. But as I was telling your wife earlier, as I yanked the cake plate off of the sheep's brains, the suction drew them into the air and they rolled off the stage.
Oh, yeah.
And onto the floor.
There were brains flying everywhere.
Brains literally flew everywhere.
Yeah.
And one rolled under the stage.
Yeah.
So, and then I grabbed them, and they're about the size of a baseball that's been kind of flattened out a little bit. They're oddly small and oddly long.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then I handed them out, and everyone had to hold a brain in their hand.
Had to touch braid.
Yeah, and smell, and a lot of people smelled the brain. Anyway, so it was an evening where we performed an investigation, learned a little bit about authenticity.
Well, I thought that I was struck that evening by how It was an event aimed at a mature audience.
Yes, to say the least. Rated M.
Not because you were hanging brain
big time
the whole night. But it just occurred to me that, like, I think about all the things that I've been to in my life. Like, I've been to alt comedy shows, I've been to improv, I've been to comedy, I've been to, I've been to lectures, I've been to all manner of things. Mm-hmm. And there is no equivalent to what occurred in your pergola.
Oh.
It is a unique phenomenon, but it did not feel disjointed. It felt like it was all of a piece, by hook or by crook. And I know that is not, it is intentional to some degree, but the real thing that makes it feel of a piece is that it is like-minded people who have come together and who get what they're doing, and you are matched in your intellectual exploration by the guests. And there's something about it that did not, that I just realized that night. I had a very strong reaction to this evening.
You wrote me a wonderful email afterwards.
I realized in that email I did not compliment your performance at all, which was,
please.
I thought that it went without saying, but I realized that as the performer, one should never just assume it goes without saying. I should have let you know that I thought you were fantastic as well.
Your email meant the world to me.
Well, all of the pieces came together, and I was like, there's nothing for adults out there. There's not a night where I can just go as an adult and enjoy myself and know that I'm going to learn something, and I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to
unless you belong to some fucking mega church.
Yeah, well, and then what are you learning about how to fucking wash people's feet all the time or something? Yeah, how to hate the gays? I already know how to do that. I've been doing that since I was 13.
Because you might like it.
Since I first had inclinations and since I first felt certain stirrings underneath my frock, underneath my vestment.
In the sacristy.
Yeah. But no, it was a fantastic night. I had a really fun time. Our friend Matt Ransford came along. He had a really fun time.
Excellent.
And we discussed afterwards. He was like, he just texted me out of nowhere, and he was like, that was such a cool thing last night. Oh. He didn't know what to expect. He thought he was just going to come and see a bunch of guys fucking circle jerking each other.
Which,
Yeah. He thought he was coming to an elephant walk.
Alpha walk?
Elephant walk.
Elephant walk?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
Did you just make that up?
No, that's a thing. That's where you stick your thumb in the butt of the guy in front of you.
It sounds
and then you guys all walk around in a circle.
Jeff, it sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, it's I mean, come on, look. Males have to bond.
Yeah, and we all have prostates.
Hey.
And the prostates don't thumb themselves.
Hey, come on. I'm not ashamed of what's going on down there. Let's move on. My parents listen to this podcast, for Christ's sake.
Hello.
Can we do an Either Way It's Gone?
Oh, yeah. I have one, too.
That refers back to an earlier statement that you made.
Why, certainly.
The things you loved and didn't love, either way they're gone.
My Either Way It's Gone, Brendan, is video games. For much of my life, have really, really enjoyed video games.
Yes.
It's been I came of age during a time in which this was not an okay thing for an adult an okay way for an adult to spend his time.
Yeah, nor even really kids. It was called No Friendo.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was not, even though everyone played Nintendo, right? I mean, but it was but that was like something for little kids. There was a stigma to it. It was like you're 13, you put away the comic books and the video games, and you start just like hunting for pussy. That's what you did.
Just gonna grab it. Right? You know what, Jeff? You're gonna grab life by the pussy.
grab it by the pussy. That's literally going to be Donald Trump's biggest contribution to culture after this.
I know it's not exactly ask not what your country can do for you, but it's close.
No, it's up there though.
It's not Badfellas.
It's not Badfellas. Okay, sorry, that's the title of this episode. I have to write that down. Anywhere.
Video games.
It was always something that I sort of like sheepishly would do during my time, and I'd have girlfriends. I'd be like, I was playing a video game. Like, I feel nerdy about it, and then like I was bought like the new system and whatever. And I made it all the way up to the last generation, which was the Xbox 360.
Oh, sure.
And the PlayStation 3.
You had both?
I have both.
Jesus, dude.
And the latest Nintendo.
Fucking hell. The GameCube or whatever?
The handheld. Yeah,
PSP?
The GameCube, Brendan. No. You video game dummy. You VG dummy, as you're known in our circles. No, I forget what it's called. The Wii U.
Oh, the Wii U. Yeah.
I have the Wii U. That's the worst name. Wii U. And I have the handheld Nintendo, the 3DS, and the fucking PlayStation handheld, the PSP.
Oh, the PSP,
or the PS
baby.
Vita. Sorry, the next generation.
Damn, girl.
Okay, and a phone.
Can I have any of these?
Like you should take all of them because here's the thing. Like, I buy these things. I've invested thousands of dollars in this shit, like along with the games and the blah and the this and the that. And like, I just had this crushing realization the other day when I was like, Sarah was gone, and I was like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to play a video game because that's something I enjoy doing. I sit down and I'm like, this isn't something I enjoy doing.
Huh.
There are other things in life I should be doing. I don't know what those things are, but like somehow the video game, it just feels like more than watching a movie, more than watching TV, more than anything in my life, it feels like a utter waste of time. Like, because like at this point I've played so many of these fucking things that I know all the tricks. I'm just not like drawn into any of it. B, like the storytelling in most of this shit is abysmal. Like you've got like jacked up dudes with like giant muscles, like terrible dialogue, like the animation on this stuff, even on the newest generation.
And the cutscenes are just like,
it still looks like it's still the worst like uncanny valley shit you've ever seen. You know? And like,
except when Bill Watterson is in it.
No, when he's in a game, it takes it to the next level.
Yeah.
What game was he in?
Lost Planet 3.
I never played it.
Electric Boogaloo.
Amazing. We have a friend who was in a video game, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. That's how hip we are.
He wore the styrofoam balls.
Ugh.
He said the scripts, he was also in L.A. Noire. He said the scripts are 3 reams of paper.
Oh, they're gigantic, because it's like every iteration of thing you could possibly
every possible
do.
in any direction.
And even that still feels very controlled, It's not like
a
choose your own adventure experience. But anyway, I don't know. I have this theory that people want linear experiences. That's why, like, whatever. I don't think we're moving towards this world in which everything is completely open ended, and I don't think people really want
like
that.
the opening sequence of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we just
visit worlds.
Well, we
now.
discussed this. I guess a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
but I think people just want to sit back and passively like let a thing wash over them.
They don't want
too much work.
Grand Theft Auto, where you go on any mission you want, or just pick off civilians or.
Personally, maybe I'm not. Maybe it's because I'm not evolved enough. Maybe the younger generation wants this, but to me, I'm like, I don't what am I missing? First of all, I feel like I'm missing something. All these games are so gigantic. Yeah. If you don't do everything, then you feel like you're missing something. So then I get like discouraged. It's just like a recipe for anxiety. It's like playing a video game now. It's like standing before the toothpaste aisle and trying to be like, what the fuck? Calcium free? Like, what is this? I don't know. Like, are 3 colors better than 1? Like, how? What's the fuck? What am I supposed to be doing here? And like, you're just like, I'm missing out on this. There's like, I end up completing these games and having actually done 15% of the things you can do. And I'm like, would my life be better if I just devoted my entire life to this one fucking Grand Theft Auto game or whatever?
I have 3 words for you.
Okay.
4 words.
Oh, please.
Andrew Melora State Park in Big Sur, California.
What is it? Just go and kill myself in this park? Is that what you're advising?
Well, that's kind of a projection, but actually, weirdly, yes, that was what I was advising.
I know how you work. I've done enough of these fucking things with you.
Kill myself. Get into that nature, baby.
Oh yeah. Well, and
just achieve a balance. I'm not saying like give up the video games, but like strike a balance between camping and.
I'll tell you, man. I went car camping with my family like a month or two ago.
Did you bring a PSP?
No, I brought nothing. I brought no media of any sort. And I just realized like there's something about being outside all day, every day it resets everything in your body.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, like, and even it was car camping. It's not like we were roughing it, you know, but it was just like, oh, it's just the feeling of being in the outside.
Life slows way down. The only important thing is getting this fire started.
Yeah, it is nice.
You got to have a tent you can stand up in, though.
I do need that, but but I don't think that's. I think that's tangential to my video game experience. I just feel like one can embrace all things in life, but at this point in my life, I see very little reward in video games, and I keep trying, I keep striving,
Yeah.
I keep thinking of myself as a video game guy, but I just am not receiving the pleasures that I once did.
Well, Jeffrey, before you have kids, you have all.
Oh, I have kids.
Oh.
This is terrible advice, Brendan.
Oh, never mind. Ill-timed advice.
What should I do before I have kids?
Before one has kids.
Nicholas Weiner. This advice is going out to Nicholas Weiner.
Oh, Nick, you legend.
Yeah.
If you go by Nick, can I call you Nick?
And Sam Sadden. Sam Sadden. He has children, but we don't speak of them.
None that he knows about.
Yeah.
And Shorn Johnblad.
Yeah. No, Zorn Schomblad is very. He's a
Zorn Schomblad. Hey, gentlemen, Zorn Schomblad. God, I love that guy. So now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I remember.
Before you have kids,
you just think you have all the time in the world. You're like,
yes, absolutely.
and you're like, video games, sure. Like, oh my god, I lost a week of my life to Halo.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Me and my girlfriend at the time, we were staying in an apartment in New York. They're like, she had these friends, and for some reason, they were like, have our apartment on like 89th and Broadway, for a week, and just like experience New York.
Yeah,
but they had
Halo.
a PlayStation and they had Halo, and she started going out with friends for lunch, and I just fucking played Halo the entire week because I was
Bold
30.
move. Yeah,
or 29 or whatever,
and you didn't really care that much.
And time, plenty of that.
Yeah,
there'll be times to come back to New York.
Can I tell you something that I just was brought to the realization of today? We have more time left in our professional careers than we have already
really
spent.
Oh, that's a relief.
I'm
still trying to get mine started, frankly.
Well, no, exactly, but I'm saying. You retire at 65, which by the time we're old, it's going to be 75.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. So we could start a career now.
You can start a whole new career. It made me feel like the entire future is ahead of me.
Dude.
Yeah.
Then we need to become dentists. Do you know how little they work? We need to be oral surgeons.
Really?
I don't know how long it takes to become an oral surgeon, but we will be laughing. We'll have every model of Tesla. We'll work Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll go on cruises because we feel like it.
Is that how it works?
Dude,
Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Dentists are geniuses because they became dentists.
You know, I hate teeth, though. If I could tear
Get
out all
over
my
it, dude.
teeth
I'm telling you can do whatever you want with your life.
I want to replace my teeth with crocheted bungee sacks.
I think wood turned out really well for George Washington.
Yeah, he did okay.
He just can't drink red wine anymore.
Whatever. He's a legend. I want to hear about your get off my where are we at?
Either way. Here's my either way.
Yes.
And it's funny you should bring up narrative and
funny.
etc.
Yep.
Because here's what I miss, Jeff.
Do.
Denouement.
Okay. Tell me more.
Okay. Emily and I are like, let's watch a movie. Last night we were like, or 2 nights ago, or whatever the fuck a night is anymore, we were like, let's watch Girlhood, the French movie that got the good reviews.
Never heard of Girlhood.
It's, a movie, French, whatever.
When did that come out?
I don't know, 2012, some year.
Oh, okay.
And
is this about teenagers?
Teenagers. Now is the time for the teens.
Now is the time for the teens.
And it was, and we made it through like we always do the first 30 minutes. And we were like, well, it's 9:37 and it's time to pack it in. And I get tired at this point now too. At this point, we do go to bed at the same time because I get tired when she does.
Of course.
And So here's what I never see. So I see the beginnings of a ton of movies.
Yeah.
And I read the beginnings of a ton of books.
Okay.
And I experience the beginnings of a ton of artistic whatevers.
Sure.
And then we have to leave.
Yeah.
So basically, my life has been devoid of denouement since Oscar was born.
You know
I don't
what?
understand. The rising action, cresting,
Yeah.
and then like coming in for a landing in the third act.
Sure.
I haven't experienced a third act in 3.5 years.
I'm so sorry
Life
to
is
hear
just
that.
opening after opening after opening after opening.
I hear that. Yeah, no, I have that experience as well, and I wonder if but that's part of that's sort of related to my video game thing in that like what used to be satisfying isn't as satisfying to me anymore. Like it is more important to me that I get sleep.
Yep.
That I am physically comforted I am in physical comfort than that I finish watching the thing that will probably be pretty much like a million other things I've already watched.
We've hit our saturation point with media.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
No one talks about this.
No one blows my mind. Nothing
warned.
blows my mind anymore. And like even the epic television series, like I'm kind of like that's developing its own sort of like rhythms, you know, where you're just like, I don't want to watch fucking
I did enjoy Stranger
60
Things.
hours of this thing again.
I
Yeah,
know.
Stranger Things is great because it's 8 episodes, right?
Yeah. That's becoming the new and they're morselized biteable chunks.
Yeah.
Like I can squeeze in an hour.
I'm halfway through. Can I tell you my thing my negative on Stranger Things?
Oh, sure.
The thing that I am not enjoying about it is they do a thing that is like the most irritating thing to me that horror and fantasy and science fiction movies do.
Frozen waffle placement, product placement.
Yes. Fucking Eggos all over this thing.
Yeah.
No. That someone figures something out and he tries to tell people and they all think he's crazy and then he has to like convince them and then, like they see it for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like such a fucking time waster to me. Like that whole conversation, like, no, this really happened. No, it didn't. Like this just like it's pure
It's cooked up
it's
conflict.
wasted conflict, wasted tension.
Ever since Cassandra in the Greek mythology.
Well, I will say this I like about this is one thing I like about Better Call Saul, which I've only watched a few episodes of.
As have only I also.
As have only I also.
Mm-hmm. I'm sticking by that one.
Yeah, no, that was fine. I like that in Better Call Saul, I have noticed that like when the thing happens and you think that they're going to like spend the next 20 minutes with them trying to like convince each other of something, then Saul is just like, yeah, this is what just happened. And then like they move on.
Oh, that's pretty great.
Like I wish I could come up with an example of it, but I can't. Like that happened a few times. Oh, his brother, like his crazy brother or whatever, like they're dancing around whether or not he's crazy. And finally, like Saul is just like, you're crazy and we're putting you in an institution. And like that happens like
over.
relatively quickly. Yeah. There's no like that.
Is that Michael McKean?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Because I
God
was getting
bless him.
annoyed by that storyline. I was like, is he going to have to keep going back every episode? I can't keep doing this.
Yeah. No, it ends relatively quickly, but I don't know what it is. I don't know, but okay, I'm done. We're done.
We're
Get
done.
off my lawn. Move on.
Move on. You have a get off my lawn?
No, I already did mine.
Ah.
Or no. I'm sorry. Either way, it's gone.
Yeah.
I do have a get off my lawn, which I've been holding on to for like weeks and weeks and weeks now.
Uh-huh.
So maybe we should do it,
Yeah.
but we should probably skip Brian's phone call.
Brian, we're going to
It's
put
epic.
you on the mantelpiece
It's
of
epic.
the next episode.
I'm looking forward.
Brian will be featured in episode 80. Mm-hmm. Hardcore.
Hardcore, the last episode we ever do.
H-core.
Yep.
We should sneak a couple in.
Are we ready for get off my lawn?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey kids, get off of my lawn. Your fucking lawnmower is turning my lawn purple, and I don't want a punk rock lawn. Yeah.
It is not my job to make you feel comfortable around children.
Oh.
As a dad,
Yeah.
I don't need to explain to you what children are. I don't need to look out for my, like if you're coming over, if we're meeting somewhere, if you're not into kids, like just don't be into kids. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like these people, you get these people who aren't really that into kids and they're around your kids and they're like, hi, how are you?
Oh, and they make it a whole thing.
And
it's like, don't interact with
them.
Be
it's
low
fine.
key then.
If you're not good about it, then don't do it, But it's like, I feel this weird pressure where I'm just like, I'm supposed to make these people feel comfortable and I'm supposed to
be embarrassed about your kids or something like that.
Yeah, right. Like make up for my children being children, And it's
and that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They were kids and they annoyed the fuck out of people.
I'm sure. Everyone did.
Yeah.
We all sucked. But my kids don't suck. They're awesome.
Your
so
kids,
it's like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying, in general, like we can live in a world in which some people have kids and some people don't have kids.
Right.
Like don't fucking get an attitude about like, well, I don't ever want kids or whatever. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Fine, don't have them.
Right.
But like I do, and like I'm not gonna
the world must be peopled.
Soften the blow for you. Like this is what having children is.
And this is what being a child involves is like the interface with the world. There's no adulting it for your convenience.
That's right.
Yeah. That's the goddamn truth.
And
Jeff.
I'm not gonna fucking bring you a bag of candy if we're on a plane together.
Oh, that whole thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on.
When I get the glares, I'm just like, you're in public.
Yeah. This is a mode of transportation.
Yeah, and the public is on it.
Yeah.
Fly across the country with Kim Kardashian next time in her private jet that you also have.
Right. Exactly.
Or if you're going to fly coach,
bullshit.
Know that so does the rest of the public.
I was on a plane. Actually, this is my Spike Club. Should we move on?
Oh yeah, should we move on to Spike Club?
Yeah.
Spike Club.
I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! Spike Club! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! Spike Club! Fuck!
I went back to Michigan a couple of weeks ago.
Great town.
It's more than a town. It's a state of mind. Clio, Michigan. I actually was at home during my homecoming. Didn't even realize that.
What the fuck is homecoming? I've never understood. We didn't have that in my high school. I don't know what that is.
Right, because you went to the E pluribus unum school of boys shenanigans.
Boys shenanigans.
Was that's where you went to?
.gov.
Yeah. Boston's own E pluribus unum.
School for boys.
Yeah.
School for wayward minds.
For randy lads. Old Father Mulcahy up at the front of the class.
It was like, you children,
come
I've been teaching here since 1851.
This is the randiest group of boys I ever encountered. You're always putting frogs on me chair. I don't know. Father Mulcahy.
God rest him.
God rest him. I'm on the plane coming home. So I went to my homecoming football game.
Right, which is, I guess, something that happens.
It's just...
Does the football team go away for a long time?
Yeah. It's like when they go off into the forest.
Into the hinterlands?
They get circumcised. They circumcise one another and then they come back men.
Okay, I see. And then they come back and they choose a mate.
Yeah, exactly. During the football game. But
some are killed.
No, I don't know what the idea of it is. It's just a game during the season that is played at home. Somehow it's called homecoming, and you're supposed to go back if you're like from the whatever. If you're from the tribe.
Oh, we do have the Thanksgiving game between Boston Latin and Boston English.
Well, of course, because that was where your school was where the Indians and the Pilgrims originally
it
met,
was indeed
right?
in the cafeteria.
In the cafeteria, right.
And it's the oldest high school football rivalry in the country. It's 150 years old.
The Indians taught the Pilgrims how to make goulash.
Yeah,
I believe
that's true. They were Hungarian Indians.
Hungarian, native Hungarian Americans.
Peter Lorre.
Yes.
Oh, welcome to
Plymouth. Cornbread. I think you're gonna really like it. I cooked it myself.
R.I.P. So it was amazing going back to my high school for homecoming. That was so awesome.
Wow.
I saw a couple of people I haven't seen in 25 years.
Holy shit.
Which was...
Oh, and I saw a picture of you and John McCarran.
That's right.
I love it.
McCarran's my homeboy.
Yeah, man.
Literally. every time I'm home. I like to get in a visit with McCarran.
Yeah, word.
But anyway, so the point of this story is that I'm coming home on a plane, as one does, Southwest.
Sure.
I see this guy who was another dad at family school.
Oh.
Waiting.
Miranda July's husband?
No.
He makes wonderful movies, her husband.
He does, actually. He was actually 1,000 times friendlier and unmousy. By the way, listener Matt Ransford ran into Miranda July the other day, and he said he has never seen a human being skitter as quickly as she did. From like, she is just, like, my impression of her at family school is exactly the rest of the world's impression.
I saw her in Silver Lake. We were neighbors, and she was walking down Redcliffe one day.
She skittered
and
away
just
from
in
you?
a snit.
Yeah.
Just upset, but not upset. Clearly, like, this is how she walks. But I was like, that woman is really grappling right now.
Yeah, she's ready to get she always has to get the fuck out of wherever she is immediately. But so I'm on the Southwest, like, lining up. You know how you have to line up in those rows or whatever. And I see this guy from family school, a father who's like a couple of rows up out of me. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm on a plane in which you have to choose your own seat.
Oh, fuck.
And this is literally like the only 5 hours of silence I will get for the next 6 months.
And now you're going to have to chit chat.
Right. And so I see this guy up ahead of me, and I'm just like,
the worst.
Fuck. So I'm like turning around, like looking at my phone, pretending not to see him. Get all the way to the plane. And of course, he's still in front of me. So he sits down in a seat, and I have to walk through the aisle. He's at an aisle seat. I have to walk through the aisle and pass by him.
Oh, and does he have an empty seat next to him? Say no.
2.
No.
Yeah, he's by himself.
I hate this story. This is like a horror movie.
It's like, yeah. Yeah, it's total horrible music playing in the background. It's weird that Southwest Airlines plays that serial killer music in the background of
as
their
you're
planes.
choosing your seat and running into people you know.
It's really a little upsetting. I should write to customer service about that. But
where you're like, I'll take this middle seat way before he sees me.
Oh, that would have been smart. But no, I didn't. I was just walking towards him, and I said, I have to say hello. So I see him and I say, hey, how's it going? And he says, oh, hey. And then I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to say hello, and then I'm going to keep walking and sit in my seat. But then he says, are you sitting with anyone?
What?
I know. And I'm like,
that idiot.
I know. I'm like, I am now.
Oh,
I know.
This is the worst story I've ever heard.
Oh, so then I move in and I sit next to the window. He's in the aisle seat. Then someone else comes along and wants the seat. And he moves over to the middle seat. And this guy's a really tall. This guy's a really tall guy. He's a really tall guy. And I'm like, now I've subjected this guy to being in the middle seat.
Yeah, right. And now you feel
somehow it's
guilty.
my fault because I've got the luxurious window seat.
This guy's a boob.
But you know what?
What a maroon.
We ended up. You're right. But we actually ended up having a very nice conversation
because you had to.
And I'm glad.
Survival.
I'm glad it happened.
I'm not.
But the Spike Club angle of that is, I just hate seeing people I know places.
Anyway, I know. Yes, exactly.
Right?
Can't we live in a society?
Yeah.
Where it's a small country.
Yeah.
Like Denmark.
We all skitter off to our own
and
little.
We're like, I know you, but it's because of another thing. And that's not what this is about right now.
Right. Yeah. See, if I was your guy who was just like, can we just not?
Can we just not?
I wish I had the balls to be that guy.
I know. That would have been great because if he's not some fucking like Christian weirdo, would have been like, you know what? Totally, bro.
No, this dude is a totally decent dude. I don't want to sell him short.
No, but
it's not
decency is totally overrated.
Yeah. No, fair enough. What deserves high ratings is the guy who would just be like, hey. And then you just go on your way.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, let's shake hands on the other end, huh?
Yeah.
And then you look
nice
at and then he looks at his magazine.
I'm gonna go sit by myself.
Yeah, he could be like, hey, see if you can score yourself an empty row. I think this one's gonna stay empty.
Right.
And I'm pretty psyched about that.
Right. But I'll tell you what. One thing I did learn during this conversation. This guy's making a documentary about changing work habits. 40% of the workforce is going to be freelance by 2020.
It isn't already. You know why? I was just reading Naomi Klein's No Logo, which you talked about very, very long time ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Or did I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good book.
And the whole idea of outsourcing everything, no one manufactures anything. It's just brands. It's just photo shoots now.
Right.
Like Nike doesn't make anything.
Is that true?
They're just the Nike brand. They just produce photo shoots for which they hire freelancers.
Right.
And they just put out shoes for which they hire freelancers.
Right.
Everything's freelancing. It's
well,
just
when you say they don't make anything, what does that mean?
They don't actually manufacture anything. Everything's outsourced. They just maintain the brand Nike. And what she pointed out, which I thought was really interesting, is that when companies merge, you think they keep getting bigger and bigger, but they actually get smaller and smaller because they're just maintaining a brand and they're outsourcing everything.
Wow.
So there's a whole shadow economy that is
just
it's just like. And this is sort of the 4-hour work week too. It's just like get other people to do shit and just be the owner.
But like really what you're producing is miserable garbage, right?
Yeah, but the joke's on people who aren't you.
Can I ask, is Thomas Edison like the worst person to have ever lived? Like did he destroy He destroyed the world, right?
He destroyed the world.
Like the combustion
his
engine
thug.
is
everything that guy touched turned to lethal horror.
Yeah. He had like 100-year run of
the worst of the worst.
Well,
except for the incandescent light bulb, except he didn't invent it. But
even that,
cool.
that's out. That's gone now.
Sadly, because it looks nice.
The LED we love.
Oh, no, I hate.
I prefer the LED.
This is where
CFL.
I'm a Republican when it comes to light bulbs.
Okay, fair enough. Trying to cram your fucking hippie light bulbs down our throats.
Fuck hippie light bulbs. I hate that shit.
Where are we at? Spike Club? Do you have a Spike Club?
Yeah, I have a Spike Club.
Do.
We were talking about this. We were texting about this. I think I don't like going to concerts. I think concerts are actually boring. Because Jeffrey...
Yeah, it's good of you to admit that.
I'm ready to admit it to myself. They're expensive.
Right.
You're surrounded by rich idiots who have nothing but time and money.
Yeah.
And like they're investment bankers, but they still like Neutral Milk Hotel. What are you doing at my Neutral Milk Hotel concert, you fucking civilian?
Uh-huh.
And...
Yeah.
You've heard all the songs. Either you know all the songs by heart, or you haven't heard this one. You have to wait for it to be over because you don't know it.
Right.
I think I don't like going to concerts.
Well,
and it's loud, and I'm going deaf.
The problem with concerts is that I have had magical moments at concerts. I have had like life-changing, memorable, forever moments.
Lest we forget
at concerts. Sure. Who is hosting? He has a show that he's hosting now.
No shit.
Yeah.
He also has a Tiny Desk concert that's great.
I recall you mentioning it. I still haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But there are transcendent moments that occur at concerts, but you have to go to 20 concerts before you see that.
This is just like theater
moment.
Yeah.
So it's like at this point in my life, when I'm going to 3 concerts a year,
right?
If every one of them isn't transcendent, then I'm fucking wasting my time. I mean, the reason this whole thing came up is because there's a Pixies concert in Ventura next week. Yeah. Ventura is an hour and a half away.
Right. The Pixies is one of my favorite bands of all time.
They're one of the best, and I feel inside like I am killing some part of my spirit by not trying to get to this concert.
Yeah. Why are they playing in Ventura?
I don't know. I don't.
Are they playing? They're probably playing the same place we saw Neutral Milk Hotel.
We saw them in Ventura.
Yeah, that's where that concert venue was.
Oh yeah, that's a small place.
Yeah,
yeah, that's probably it.
Huh.
And I just don't want to do it, man. I don't.
Yeah.
I've seen them a lot of times. Their new album is decent. It's actually decent. There's some decent songs.
Sure, they have a big sound.
It's not fucking Doolittle, you know.
Nothing ever will be again.
Nothing ever will be again. I don't think I'm not going to be surprised by this concert.
Right.
But it's like a duty. There's something inside me that says like if I don't try to go to this concert, then I'm submitting to, like, I might as well just be dead. Like I might as well be I'm done. I'm done.
But Charles Thompson Kitteridge III or whatever also has the same sense of duty about these concerts. Like he's sort of like it's his day job. And you sort of get the sense. Like I don't know, man. I went to Devotchka and it was like good. Or better yet, Wilco. I've seen Wilco 3 times, and they're so boring.
Yeah.
They don't even
sure.
sway, and it sounds exactly like the album. So it's like a slightly louder spin of the disc.
And
you're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, and the other thing is the expectation, like that you're in the crowd and you're supposed to be having an experience.
Yeah.
And like everyone in the crowd is like, "Wah!" Like everyone's
but
having
those are
an
all
experience
sensation
around
pursuers.
you. And they're not even, I don't even think they're really like having the experience that they're purporting to have.
No. And
They're
they
just
clap like louder for the single because half of them are there because of a radio contest or some bullshit.
Ah, fuck it.
When I saw Elliott Smith, God rest his soul,
You saw Elliott Smith
a number of times.
How about you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And he would perform. He would do like the song that was like that happened to be the single on FNX in Boston or whatever, WFNX. And the one that was like playing every morning, and then there would be louder cheers at the beginning of the single, and I'm like, what? Everyone here should know all of these songs by heart.
Right.
At an Elliott Smith concert,
Sure,
everyone should know every song by heart, like I do.
Right.
Yet, this was not the case. Still, it had the teeny boppers who are just pursuing sensations and fucking like there to feel famous, and they hear the single and they feel famous because it's the single they hear on the radio.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm famous.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Well, that's why he drove a steak knife through his sternum.
I have the skinny on that, by the way. Friend of a friend of a friend.
So it was his girlfriend?
No, sadly. No, it was very sad. He and his girlfriend had been on again, off again, and they fought a lot. Like they would have these knockdown dragouts, and then she would leave him, and then he would do something rash, and then need her to come to his rescue.
I see.
And then that was their pattern. And then she would come back and nurse him back to health.
Okay.
And so it was not his intent to kill himself. But just like Steve Irwin, I think the blade just like went right between the ribs and the rib cage. And he just like, he meant to just kind of like be dramatic.
It was just a fun Harry Carey
It was kind of
attempt.
He meant to just stab himself in the sternum, but he missed and he went right into the I know, it's horrible. And we lost the greatest musician of the 90s besides, what's his name?
Neutral Milk Hotel?
Yeah.
You have a thing that you like, I've discovered.
Sad white boy rock.
I guess so.
Yeah. Acoustic based, analog sadness.
So Vorhorst, basically.
Basically, Vorhorst.
Can we do fatherly advice?
Fatherly advice.
Help me, Daddy. Fatherly advice. Help me, Daddy. Fatherly advice.
My fatherly advice. I'm going to go very quick. These are two tips, computer tips.
I see.
For you. Mm-hmm. You ever use a computer?
Nope.
Oh, well, it's this new device.
Okay.
And you can,
sounds like it computes.
You can contact the future with it. If you want to get past the paywall on news sites, like New York Times, say you've hit your 10 articles
which I do every month, quickly.
Just open up an incognito window, bro. Huh? Paste your little link in there, and Bob's your uncle.
That's great.
That's number one. Number two, do you want to listen to Spotify without the ads?
Oh, I know. I pay.
Oh, okay. Do you want to not pay for Spotify and listen to it without the ads?
I do.
Just play it through your browser and use an ad blocker. It works.
Wow.
Chrome. You listen to I don't know about other browsers. That's the browser I use.
Me too.
I have a ad blocker on my Chrome, and I listen to Spotify through the browser. Never hear an ad.
Wow. Wait. So do you see ads when you go on websites?
Rarely.
You just see the website?
Yeah.
I need an ad blocker.
Oh, you don't have an ad blocker?
No, I just never bothered.
Ad blocker, bro.
Is it called ad blocker?
I don't know what it's called. I can tell you right now.
Well, I'll find it. That's very exciting.
Yep.
I have finally advice. I wrote this down thinking I would come up with something better.
Okay.
But I never came up with something better.
You could.
Well, this is a follow-up.
We still have time.
No, because it's now.
Yes, ad block is the name of the ad blocker.
Copy that. BLOQ, I assume.
Just a free, no, BLOCK. and just a free extension.
Huh.
Anyone can take it.
I love it.
And Chrome, you don't have to waste your money anymore.
I love that.
Okay, keep going.
So, about...
Oh, this is terrible already. You're right.
What?
Whatever you're saying, it's awful. You could have come up with a better thing.
I know, I know. It's terrible.
Upset at your laziness this week.
I'm embarrassed. But you know how 4 dad jeans in a row I talked about how to run with a backpack?
Yes.
I have a follow-up.
Okay. Was it 4? No, it was like 20 at this point.
I mean, I did forget a lot. And so for those of you just tuning into Dad Jeans,
yes.
What I had said back then was, as you run with your backpack on,
yes.
you use one hand, hook it around the arm thing, and pull it hard against your back so that it's like stuck to your back, so your torso is one fuselage. But I have an even better way now.
Do tell.
As you run, you swirl your arms like an egg beater, and it makes all the difference.
Oh God! I'm trying to envision your life right now, and it's making me really sad.
A lot of time
I know
spent
I've
running with a
attempted
backpack
to murder
on.
myself twice during this podcast. I may have to do it again.
So you run like this.
Oh, I thank you for giving me the visual. I think the listeners have it in their head. And
it's like water polo. Do what water polo players do with their legs with your arms.
To keep your backpack on your back?
I don't know why it works, but I have to run.
What is wrong with your back, A? Or
scoliosis.
B, what is wrong with your
sensitive
backpack?
jackhole.
What is wrong with your backpack? Why don't you get a backpack that fits onto your back? And you don't have to do all these machinations.
When you run, your backpack is like counterbalancing, like it's going the wrong way. It yaws as you yip. And so if you swirl your arms, it brings it under control, and you can just like run fast.
Is it filled with snow globes? Is that the problem with your
There is a surge. Yeah, there's a surge.
Yeah. Oh God. So okay, so just walk me through this entire experience of being Brendan.
Okay. You park your scooter at Palms Metro Station after work.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do.
And then it's 5:11.
Yeah.
And at 5:12 the train comes.
Okay.
Leaving you precisely 1 minute to get up on the platform, which is probably
You get out at 5 every night?
Oh, the on the dot. I'm in a union, bro. 5
what
on the
dot.
What time
do you start?
9.
Okay, you have to be there 9 sharp.
Yep.
Do you get there at 9 sharp?
That's classified.
Okay. According to Big Brother, you do.
Yeah.
That someone wearing a Brendan mask walks in the building at 9 a.m.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then an hour lunch, and then 5 p.m. I'm out of there.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 on the dot.
And there's no pressure at your work to like say fuck the union and work harder or work later.
That's not my particular
You don't accept that pressure.
I just don't accept the pressure.
You don't have to. You don't have to. I believe if we all had that strength, then we would. Let's just admit that we don't want to be at work.
No, exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It will expand
life is
to
life.
Fill the amount of time you allow it.
Absolutely.
And therefore, like, I received this advice when I was very young. Some guy, like, I worked for City Years, like an urban Peace Corps, and everyone was like saving the world. And so everyone was there till 9 p.m. And this guy was like leaving at 5, which feels like noon in an office full of martyrs.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, do you have an appointment?" And he's like, "No, it's 5 o'clock."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Dude, I got my work done by 5 because I organized my day so that I could.
Right.
So leave at 5 because that's when the day's over."
Good.
If you leave at 5, you become the guy who leaves at 5. And at first, all the martyrs are like, "Well, he sucks."
Yeah.
But then they can fucking suck a bag of
They
D's.
can go eat a dick. Yeah.
And meanwhile, you have left at 5, and you're not going to be friends with anybody anyway.
Right. And that guy doesn't need to windmill his arms as he's running around.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so then you park your scooter.
Right.
Not that I'm surrounded by martyrs in my place. I love everybody I work with.
Yeah.
But there is corporate America is a place where martyrdom is assumed, and it's ridiculous.
All America. Not even corporate.
It's
I don't
so
even know.
stupid.
Is there a different kind of America than corporate
You know
America?
what? This is my new fatherly advice. Fuck swinging your arms.
Okay.
My fatherly advice is leave when the day's over. Don't stay. Don't be a hero. You're not a hero. You're a fucking chump.
Could do it. I knew you could get there.
You're not don't be a chump and work for some thing you don't even believe in. And spend time away from your family.
Your boss doesn't believe in it.
Your boss doesn't believe it.
It's all handed down. It's all because everyone's afraid to be the fucking to be the alpha. Everyone's afraid to like break out of the pack.
Yeah. Work 8 hours because that's the stupid thing we're supposed to work, which is stupid.
Whatever. That's we'll accept that as our cultural standard.
And then they can't fire you for working 8 hours and then leaving.
Nope.
And you will be a folk hero and then fucking leave. You have to organize your day.
Yep.
So that you get it done.
Yep.
And get the shit done.
And here's the thing. Let me tell you. The people who do have boundaries, it's really hard to believe this as someone who has a very difficult time making boundaries. Mm-hmm. But the people who do have boundaries and have no problem being firm about them, everyone respects them.
The world is their oyster.
Everyone respects them.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I want to be that person.
I don't know why I am capable of this at work. I'm not capable of it in my social life or in my marriage, but at work, I'm like, fuck it.
Because you have 3 hours to get home. Like,
well, there's that. Yeah, my commute is deadly.
I might be doing that commute soon.
Let's talk off air.
Okay.
I love you, Jeff.
I accept you. Brendan, it's always uncomfortable when one of us gets to this point.
And only one of us does at a time.
And only one someday.
It's our curse.
Someday. We'll go to Wee Spa together. Afterwards. We'll go up old Brokeback. The sparks will fly.
I'm afraid I might like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I might like it. 2 good titles this week. Ladies and gentlemen, Hanging with Old Lou.
Hanging with Old Lou.
You're done with this podcast. You're like, what the fuck am I going to do with the rest of my week?
My commute's only half over.
Hanging with Old Lou.
Hanging with Old Lou.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thanks to you guys for giving us this whiskey that we may not ever touch because it is so...
And we're old. Are these young guys?
No, they're our age.
How do they drink whiskey?
They're better than us.
They're better than us.
Better men.
Better men.
Better men. All right. Thank you to all the better men and better women out there.
Yes.
This is Dad Jeans.
Good night.
Have a good night.